Captain Doodle on scene. Have you ever wondered what firefighters do during their 24-hour shift at the firehouse? Surely they don't fight fires all day and night. I mean, how many fires have you come across in your lifetime? You can probably count it on one hand if you're lucky. Do they play video games and sleep all day long until they have to put out a fire or run a medical call? Well, maybe on Sundays. In today's episode, I will be explaining what a typical day in the firehouse consists of. Let's get started. A firefighter's shift normally starts around 7 a.m. and ends the next day at 7 a.m. That's right, 24-hour shift. And sometimes it can go as long as 72 to 96 hours if their contract allows it. That's 4 whole days, just a bit longer than the typical 9 to 5 job. Let me break it down in 4 segments to make things simple. Keep in mind that there are no typical days in the firehouse. No 2 days are ever the same. The day begins with what I call the relief and jaw jack hours. This happens between 7 to 9 a.m. or 0700 to 0900 hours. The fire department uses military time. Firefighters normally report to the firehouse half an hour to an hour early. There are turds that comes in closer to their start time, but we won't talk about them. The first thing they do is relieve the person that they are replacing for the day, rank for rank. For example, an engineer, the person that drives and operates the apparatus, will relieve the engineer that just completed their 24-hour shift. That engineer that's going home will then give the oncoming engineer a report on any events worth mentioning from the day before. It'll go something like this. Hey Norm, I gotcha. Anything important to report? What's up, Todd? Nah, man. We got our asses handed to us. We were up all night running bullshit calls. Everything we used we replaced. I fueled up the engine last night. Oh crap, by the way, I accidentally backed into a cop car. There's a tiny scratch on the bumper. I wrote it on the engine log. I'll tell you about it later. See you tomorrow. After relieving the outgoing firefighter, they will then check out the equipment that they are responsible for. And the entire crew will do this. The engineer has the added work of making sure that the engine is in good working order. Engineer Norm is obviously responsible for whatever the previous engineer drove the day before and all its contents. He's going to inspect every inch of the apparatus, open all the compartments to make sure that all the tools are accounted for and works. Make sure the water tank is full, check all the fluids, the water pump, tires, yada yada yada. I think you get the idea. He'll check everything including the hay hooks. Most engines still carry hay hooks. Hay hooks were used during the horse-drawn engines back in the 1800s. You know what they say about traditions. After equipment check, the firehouse then gets a general cleaning. The bathrooms, the floors, clean dishes gets put away, trash cans are emptied, and all the rigs gets washed. You are probably thinking that the fire department hires a cleaning company to do all the cleaning, but you are wrong, my friend. Around 8 a.m., they will all start to pile in the kitchen for coffee and, in technical terms, jaw jack for a bit. This is where all the problems of the world get solved. Stories gets embellished, and the rookie or low man gets made fun of. After an hour or two of jokes, funny stories, and maybe even some impersonations, the captain will get everyone locked in and give the crew the plan of the day. Today, they are going to an elementary school to read books to the students, stop by the training center to learn about a new firefighting tool, and they also have to shop for their lunch and dinner at the grocery store. This bonding time over coffee and oats generally lasts about an hour or two. Business hours is usually from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 0900 to 1700 hours. It is during this time that the business of the fire department takes place. Let's start with training. There's a constant flow of new firefighters replacing retiring firefighters. These guys have many names: rookies, probies, new guy, or whatever nickname they've been given. These new hires go through a 3 to 4 month long academy, during which they learn the basic skills and knowledge of firefighting and emergency medicine. These skills are then honed when they get on the floor by their senior firefighters. No rookies to train at your firehouse? No problem. Firefighters need to constantly practice their skills since if you don't use them, you'll lose them. Medical practices are constantly evolving, so these skills must be kept up with classes and clinics. They require about 2 hours worth of training per day to keep up their many certifications. Public relations is an important part of the fire department, like reading books to the elementary kids, handing out candy on Halloween, and things of this nature. We call these dog and pony shows. Some of these may be as simple as posing with the mayor for a photo op, or a bit more complicated, like pulling a prop house on a trailer to show kids how to get out of a house on fire. You get a lunch break in your job, don't you? Well, so do these guys. Shopping for food, meal prepping, cooking, and eating falls in this time frame. Most crews prefer to cook rather than eat fast food for the health and cost benefits. No brown baggers here. We eat and cook together. After lunch, it's time to watch the eyelids. There's typically an acceptable after lunch nap or siesta. But around 1300 hours or 1 p.m., most captains wants the crew to be out of the lazy boys or couch and do something productive. Does the bumper on the engine need polishing? Or perhaps the 1500 foot of hose needs to be rotated. There's also monthly training online that needs to be done. PT also happens during this period of the day. Physical training is an important part of the firefighter's job. They have to be strong and have a lot of endurance so they can perform their duties. Most guys lift weights, run, or get on the bike, but sports is also an option. Basketball, anyone? Pickleball is popular these days, and I'm sure ping pong will make a comeback. Some fire department administration regulate PT time to no more than 2 hours. The firehouse is on their own time, starting around 1700 hours or 5 p.m. This is probably the best time of the day. Let's take Old Glory down. It must not fly in the dark. All the required duties and training are now done, and the rest of the shift is on their own time to do whatever is reasonable. This is like relaxing at home. It starts with dinner prep, followed by cooking, then chow time. Let's eat! A lot of time is spent here, similar to the jaw jack session in the morning. Just eating a good meal while telling fantastical stories of old fire calls remembered, retold, and embellished a bit. Then that story one-upped by an even more fantastical story. Get the picture? It's not unusual for crews to sit in the kitchen table until close to midnight before cleaning up. Anyone for a good station movie after dinner? Maybe play some cards or Halo? Or my favorite, sit out back around the fire pit for an extended bullcrap session with more fantastical stories while sucking on a cheap cigar. Basically any activities to pass the time until it's time to get the bed ready for some shut-eye. Bedtime. Sleeping is obviously part of the job. This time varies for everyone, but any time after 7 is usually acceptable. Unless it's that time of the year for a night drill. These are usually multi-company, multi-station drills that are required or mandatory. These night drills usually take several hours to complete. Most guys will moan and groan these night drills, but they're actually a lot of fun. Okay, bedtime for real. Of course, they'll toss and turn, listen to Carl snore, bullcrap some more, then start to doze off. Wakey, wakey, Old Glory goes back up. Unless you're that turd that came in right at 7 a.m. yesterday, most non-turds will get up, start the coffee in the kitchen, and start the reindeer games at 6 a.m. until they get relieved. Hopefully 30 minutes before 7. Don't forget, during the entire 24-hour shift, all types of emergency calls can and will come in, guaranteed. Emergencies don't take a day off, so interruptions are the norm. Meals, training, classes, station tours, meal prep, workout sessions, and especially sleep will be interrupted. The average medical call can take an hour or two from start to finish, and a fire-related call much longer. Equipment used after any call must be cleaned or replaced and put back in service for the next call. The fire truck got dirty after the fire call? Let's wash it again. We don't drive dirty fire trucks or engines. We don't have a replacement battery for our defibrillator? Then we have to drive to the nearest hub station and get one. Do you see where I'm going with this? Getting ready for the next call can be a hassle. Also guaranteed to take place at any time are pranks, laughs, storytelling, and just a good old time in the firehouse fighting fires and saving lives. So you see, these guys don't just sit around and do nothing all day. Well, maybe on Sundays and holidays. That's another video for later. There's a lot more that these guys do, but these are your typical daily activities on the fire department. It can be a very long, sleepless 24 hours, but it's always a lot of fun. They can sleep when they get home. Breakfast beers, anyone? Next time you see a fire crew at the grocery store, say hi. They'll love to jaw jack with you. Please like, share, and subscribe.